Extra kicks off the game with a Temple of Mystery tapped. He scries one and puts it on the bottom, then passes. Sam plays a tapped Sunken Hollow, then passes to John. John plays a Forest, which he taps to cast Hardened Scales, then passes, while Tom plays a tapped Rockfall Veil for his turn. On his second turn, Extra plays a Forest and casts his commander, Nicanzil, current Conductor. Extra passes. Sam plays an island for turn and casts Dimir's Signet, for passing to John, who plays another Forest, then Farseeks for a Temple Garden tapped. John then passes to Tom. Tom plays a Battlefield Forge for turn, then casts Glimpse the Core, searching a basic forest onto his field tap. Tom passes to Extra. Extra plays a Rejuvenating Springs for turn, then casts Realm Walker, naming Merfolk. He swings Nicanzil at Tom for 2, then passes. Sam plays a Haunted Ridge for turn, then casts Herald's Horn, naming Pirate, before handing the turn to John. John plays a Canopy Vista, then casts his own commander, Sovereign Okinec AHAU. He passes to Tom. Tom plays a Sunbaked Canyon for turn, then casts Naif of the Dire Hunt, paying 1 life to Sunbaked Canyon. The turn then goes back to Extra. Extra starts by casting Enter the Unknown, having his Realm Walker explore. Realm Walker hits a land, triggering Nicanzil, and letting Extra put Alchemist's Refuge from his hand to the field tapped. Extra then uses Realm Walker's static ability to cast River Herald Scout from the top of his library. The creature explores on ETB, this time flipping a spell that Extra keeps on top, and both River Herald and Nicanzil get a 1/1 counter in the bargain. Extra then plays a Dreamroot Cascade for turn, then proceeds to play an island as an additional land drop thanks to Enter the Unknown. Extra then attacks Sam with Realm Walker and Tom with Nicanzil, and with neither player declaring blockers, passes to Sam. On Sam's upkeep, he looks at the top card of his library thanks to Herald's Horn. He reveals it to be Admiral Beckett Brass and puts it into his hand before drawing for turn. Sam plays an island for turn, then casts Admiral Beckett Brass. He also proceeds to cast Captain of Umbar, then hands it to John. John plays a Forest and an Arcane Signet. He casts Botanical Brawler, which enters with 3 1/1 counters thanks to Hardened Scales. He then casts Hungering Hydra for X=1, and it enters with 2 1/1 counters, triggering Botanical Brawler, which gets 2 more 1/1 counters with Hardened Scales. John then goes to combat, swinging his commander at Extra. On attack, Okinec AHAU triggers, putting 6 1/1 counters on Botanical Brawler and 3 1/1 counters on Hungering Hydra. Extra then takes the hit, and John passes. On Tom's turn, he loses 1 life and taps out to cast Cacophadon. Then it passes to Extra. Extra plays a Rampaging Balos for turn, then plays a Forest, triggering their landfall and making a 4/4 beast. Extra passes. On Sam's upkeep, Herald's Horn triggers, and Sam reveals Direfleet Neckbreaker from the top and puts it into his hand. He plays a Steam Vents for turn, paying 2 life. He then casts his commander, Admiral Brass Unsinkable, milling 4 cards as it enters. Sam then goes to combat, triggering his commander's second ability and returning Ramirez de Pietro, Pillager, from his graveyard to the field as a 4/4 with a finality counter and haste, losing 2 life and making 2 treasures as the pirate enters. Sam swings Ramirez at Tom, who doesn't block, and on combat damage, exiles the top card of his library, which Sam gets to cast if he chooses. In his second main, Sam plays a Soul Diviner, then hands it to John. On John's turn, he plays the Ozolith, and with the spell on the stack, Sam responds with a Terminate, targeting Botanical Brawler. With no other responses, the plant dies, and the Ozolith resolves. John then plays a Mistcutter Hydra for X=4, and it enters with 5 1/1 counters. John then goes to combat, attacking Tom with Hungering Hydra and AHAU, while the Mistcutter Hydra goes at Sam. AHAU triggers on attack, giving 6 1/1 counters to the Hungering Hydra and 6 1/1 counters to Mistcutter Hydra. Tom decides to block and kill AHAU with Cacophedon and Aid, while both Hydras still connect with their targets. John then passes to Tom. Tom, still lagging behind, just casts his commander, Wayta, then passes. Extra first plays a Jadelight Spelunker for X=4, and it enters, exploring 4 times. This results in 2 lands that Extra adds to his hand, and 2 spells that he sends to the graveyard, triggering Nicanzil 4 times, giving it 2 1/1 counters, and putting Vine Glimmer Snarl and Path of Ancestry from his hand onto the field tap. The lands entering also net Extra an additional 2 4/4s thanks to Rampaging Baloths. Extra then plays Karn's Bastion for turn, getting another 4/4 beast. Next up is the combat phase, in which Extra attacks Tom with the Rampaging Baloths and John with the rest of his available creatures. Both declare no blocks, and Extra passes the turn to Sam. On Sam's upkeep, he puts a Siren Stormtamer from the top into his hand thanks to Herald's Horn. He plays a Sulphurous Springs for turn, he plays a Dire Fleet Neckbreaker, then activates his Captain of Umbar to draw and discard. He casts Siren Stormtamer next, with Tom responding by paying 1 life to add a white with Sunbaked Canyon in order to cast Swords to Plowshares, targeting the Dire Fleet Neckbreaker. Neckbreaker is then exiled, and Sam gains 4 life. Sam then moves to attack, returning Warkite Marauder from his yard with his commander. He attacks Extra with the Warkite, and John with both Brasses and Ramirez. Neither player declares any blocks, and on combat damage, Sam exiles a card from the top of each of their libraries, and having dealt damage to John with 3 pirates this combat, gets to steal his Hungering Hydra thanks to Beckett Brass. Sam then passes. John casts Lifeblood Hydra for X=3, and it enters with 4 1/1 counters. He swings Mistcutter Hydra at Sam, then passes to Tom. On Tom's first main, he adds 2 green to his pool. He activates Wayta, having her fight Tom's Cacophedon. This triggers Cacophedon twice, letting Tom untap 2 lands. Tom then casts a Stuffy Doll, paying 1 life, and choosing Extra as it enters. The turn then moves to Extra. Extra plays the Forest for turn, making a 4/4 with his Baloths. He then goes to combat, swinging the Baloths at Tom, and 4 of his beasts, the Spelunker, and Nicanzil at Sam. Before damage, Sam activates Soul Diviner, removing the finality counter from Ramirez and drawing a card. Unfortunately, it's not enough to save him, and Sam dies to combat damage, while Tom locks the Baloths with the Stuffy Doll, which triggers twice and deals a total of 2 damage to Extra. Extra then passes it to John. John recasts his commander and goes all out on Extra. Extra proceeds to block the Mistcutter Hydra with 1 of his beasts, and the Hungering Hydra with the River Herald Scout. Hungering Hydra triggers on taking damage and gets 3 1/1 counters. Then John passes to Tom. Tom loses 1 life to cast Toski, Bearer of Secrets, then passes, with Extra jumping in on his end step to activate Karn's Bastion, proliferating all his counters. Extra then moves to his turn, starting by playing a Forest and making another 4/4. He attacks John with 4 beasts and the Spelunker, while the Baloths, Realm Walker, and Nicanzil swing at Tom. John blocks the Spelunker with AHAU, and Tom blocks Nicanzil with a Stuffy Doll, Realm Walker with Toski, and the Baloths with both Wayta and Cacophedon. Before damage, Extra responds by Pongifying Wayta, negating the double damage triggers. Combat damage then resolves, and John dies, while Stuffy Doll deals 6 damage to Extra. Extra then passes to Tom, who draws, dramatically announces this card is useless, and hands the win to Extra.